Ladies and gentlemen, business owners and entrepreneurs from all over the world, welcome to the Sas Tribe Podcast. Ow. We are broadcasting live from Toronto, Canada. Sas Tribe is a community for SaaS founders, consultants, creators, small businesses, digital agencies, and most importantly, early adopters. We host upcoming and established founders and creators to take a deep dive into their respective products, understand their vision, and help them build a tribe of early adopters. If you are constantly looking to innovate and digitalize your business, then this podcast and our community are for you. Join us for community reviews, unique perspectives, and discussions on how to use promising SaaS tools to your advantage. Our vision is to help build sustainable startups. We want to drive long-term benefits for early adopters and startups that can scale and receive ongoing feedback. The goal is to constantly improve their tools to pave the ultimate road to success. We are deeply committed to our tribe of early adopters and discovering tools and resources which help businesses thrive. What? This is an interactive show, so engage with us. Tell us your name and where you're from in the comments. Our show will be starting in 1 minute.
Hi everyone, this is Nilesh here, and today we have with us Tallboy, Corey Sanders. Hi Tallboy, how are you?
I'm doing all right, Nilesh. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Hey,
we spiced up the intro and everything. How about that?
Yes, love the intro. I did goof up a little bit, if you noticed. We'll
have time. We'll have time to play it again for folks that come in at a later time and date. They can come in and we'll play it back a little bit later so they can see the full show. But as you practice live streaming, you'll get this down packed with no problems.
Thank you, and thanks for making that. I really love it, and I know you put in a lot of thought into doing that. It looks amazing. Thank you so much for doing that. And welcome. So I know we have been talking. I've seen your amazing promo videos and your live shows. And I wanted to talk to you about what you do, how did you get into video, and share with the community some of your vMix knowledge as well as your services. So somebody who is looking into getting into streaming, looking into video, or just want to get their video professionally done. I think this is a great show for them, as well as you being a great point of contact for that. So thanks a lot for doing that for the community.
Okay, well, I definitely welcome it. So let me be first to say I'm not the master, I'm not the guru of vMix. Maybe in this group or this community here, I may be a little bit more advanced, but I'm learning every single day. There's a great vMix community that you can ask questions on Facebook. There's about 2 or 3 of them, and they're very responsive. But the biggest thing is just getting out there with whatever streaming platform that you're on. It's just getting out there and practicing, because you're going to make your flubs, you're going to make your mistakes. And at the end of the day, it's just a matter of repetition and practice. No different if you're an athlete, you have to get out there and practice. If you don't shoot the jump shots, or if you don't shoot the free throws, you can't expect to make them in the game, right?
Absolutely. Talking of jump shots and the game, so tell me a little bit, and to those who don't know you, can you talk a little bit about your sporting career and your sporting background?
Oh, man, here this guy goes. All right. So I'm not really a big fan of talking about my previous life, but I went to the same high school as Majic Johnson in Lansing, Michigan. I then got a Division I scholarship to play basketball at Cal State Fullerton, but then graduated after my freshman year to the University of New Orleans. I ended up playing in the WBA, which is the World Basketball Association, not the WNBA, the ABA, the USBL, And then I ended up playing in the D League, which is now known as the G League now. So basically, the one step below going to the NBA. And then I had an opportunity to play basketball professionally in Çanakkale, Turkey, Tallinn, Estonia, and Montevideo, Uruguay. So I've had a chance to play abroad and as well here in the States, and had some great experiences, not only in college, but also in my professional life. And I've had a chance to meet some great people along my journey when it came to playing sports.
That's excellent. Like, great. And how tall are you? So,
Man, here it goes, man. I tell people I'm a professional swimmer when they ask me this every day, or every time I get out of the house. I get at least asked this question at least once, maybe twice a day, maybe more. But I normally charge a quarter, but for this stream only, I will only just tell you I'm 7 feet tall.
Very cool. Very cool. So we have a few folks here. Joe is here. Alston Anthony is
my
here.
My man, Joe.
Yeah, so welcome, Joe and Alston. Good to see you. I think we have a few other folks online. Hopefully they start, we'll see some names. I think Joe is having some issue with his name. So let me just send him a link. Joe, okay. I think it's chat.restream.io/Facebook. So if you go to chat.restream.io/Facebook, you can give permission. I'm not sure why it's not showing your name, but hopefully if once you give the permission again, it should show up. Let me know if it doesn't. So chat.restream.io/Facebook. Okay. So tell me something. So going from a professional basketball career to diving into radio, how did that all happen? Like, what made you do that transition?
Okay, so basketball, before radio, there was promotions and marketing. So marketing and promotions, B2C, business to consumer promotions was really the transition. But it all started because my agent didn't believe in my aspirations of getting endorsement deals. So I wanted to be the guy, dude, you're getting Adele, Shaq getting in the Buick commercial, the Callie Lewis's for, what was the name of that website? What's the big famous web hosting? I can't think of the name of it, but
HostGator?
No. She was
GoDaddy?
GoDaddy. So
Yeah.
she's now Loria Petrucci now on Facebook, and
yes.
she does a live stream every day. But that's Callie Lewis, and I aspired to do those the Billy Mays. I don't know a lot if any of you guys know who Billy Mays is, but Billy Mays was the guy that I really aspired watching those late night infomercials. You can do it in 3 easy steps. That was like my aspiration, and my agent did not really believe in those aspirations. He told me I wasn't in the NBA, and like I told him, basketball does not make me, nor does it break me. So I'm going to walk away from this game. And I walked away cold turkey when the season ended, and I really didn't know what I was going to do, but I ended up doing some promotions and marketing for Pokemon, Starbucks, Charborough Barbecue Grills, and Panasonic. And I got a chance to go across the United States just marketing and promoting their products. And you got a chance to see these large scale activations where the truck would fold out into a house. Or you would see the Oscar Mayer wiener dog driving down the freeway, and they're just giving out free hot dogs at all the conventions. Or the Charborough barbecue grills. We would be at every major barbecue festival, and we would be promoting the grills and frying turkeys in their oilless turkey fryer. So that was really like what I wanted to do. And then finally, it just kind of said, you know what? I was working a job I really didn't care for. And I said, I'm going to call the radio station because I was listening to Steve Harvey, the comedian.
Yeah.
And he kind of said, if there's something that you want in life, surround yourself around the people that you're doing. So on my 15-minute break, I literally called I looked up the phone numbers for all the radio stations, literally, and I called every radio station that I could find, and I literally begged my way into one particular radio station. So that's the. We're not going to go into the deep dive of it, but that was pretty much how I got my start from playing professional sports, my agent not believing in me, doing marketing and promotions, and then saying, you know what, you still got to survive.
Yes.
So with that being said, I'm going to do this job until I find something that I want to do. And when I got my foot in the door in radio, I think that's kind of where everything kind of shifted for me. So.
Very cool. And I know you've had the pleasure of interviewing a lot of famous personalities.
Oh, man.
We're going to get into that for sure as we get into, sharing some of the videos and get into the remix. Before that, I want to jump into a little bit about who you have interviewed and things of that nature, because that is quite, creditable in terms of not everybody gets to interview the kind of folks which you have. So that's something which is really interesting. And but before we get into that, we have a few other folks here. Sam, how are you? And then we have okay. Hey, Joe, I hope you have figured out how to give permission. Let me see. Do I still see you? No, I still don't see you. So maybe go to chat.restream.io and /Facebook. So maybe you can give permissions there.
And if all else fails and you can't get in there, just put your message in and then just put your first name or your first letter and your first initial of your last name, and we'll know who you are, Joe.
Yes. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh man.
Somebody's from Texas. That's what's up. What part of Texas? I would love to know what part of Texas. San Antonio, Dallas, Lubbock. So while he's working on that for Nilesh, hopefully you guys will learn some things. And like I said, I'm not a professional, but we're going to kind of do like a little storytelling type vibe. And hopefully either you choose to say, I'm willing to take a deep dive in this myself, or you may say, you know what, this may be out of my league and maybe I find somebody that knows how to do this. And I just sit back and let the production person take the wheel. And then let me just focus on the content. So, I mean, you have multiple, ways of viewing the live streaming. And I know all of us that are in this group, we love to just do it on our own and kind of just figure it out. But sometimes you might just need to just find you a team and just don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yes. And, I want to talk a little bit about some of the services, what kind of work you do around video production, and how you can help folks who are just getting into streaming from a vMix perspective and things. Can you talk about video production and what the kind of services which you offer?
So first and foremost, I'm a content creator.
Yes.
So that means creating, you may have an event. And when we think content creators, we primarily think of weddings, right? Like, hey,
Yes.
This person was at the wedding, they captured this moment, and it was just like this, the wife or the missus is just so in love because you were able to effectively tell your story. Well, that's no different from your small business. I am a content creator, and it's my job to tell your story. Just like this intro that we'll play back a little bit later on.
Yes.
Nilesh sent me a script. And when he sent me a script, I watched it. I read it. I looked at it. I asked him if I could make some tweaks. And I was able to effectively tell his story through video. And now we have an intro for this community that he probably wanted it, but did not know how to go about asking for it. He probably didn't know how to go about doing it. But it was, at the end of the day, it was because I'm that content creator. Let me tell your story. So you tell me what it is that you're looking for, and if that means me coming and doing a day in the life with you, if that means you have an event and you want to recap it, because I mean, let's just be honest and put in the comments. Would you rather someone just say, "Hey, come buy tickets to my concert," or to my gala, or would you like to see a video showing what happened at the previous event that you already had, and then you're trying to get tickets sold for the next one? Whether you just put up a flyer or you just said buy the tickets, or if you had a video showcasing what to expect. Is it, what type of event am I walking into? Is it black tie? Is it red carpet? Is it just maybe some poster boards? Who knows? But at the end of the day, you just want to be able to tell your story. So no different from us as business owners or entrepreneurs or startups in the LTD community. We're all out here trying to tell our story, and my job is to effectively, or try to effectively, do that for you.
Very well said, TB. And one of the things which I have I really like about the video, and when I wrote the script, is like, you put in the effort to go the visual portion of it in terms of some of the text which goes with it to align with the actual script, right? So the whole voiceover and the video matches really well, right? Like with so yeah, thank you for doing that intro. I'm going to use that for the podcast portion of it, for the audio portion, so as well.
And then not only did I give you a video portion, you now have the audio. So if you ever choose to go podcast, you now have the audio version to go along with the video. So now when you start doing your audio podcast and someone chooses to download it, they can still hear it, and then you can still go into your show.
Yes, absolutely. And we have some more folks. We have Lyle who had joined. Steve Bessler had joined as well. Hi, Steve. Hey, Lyle.
Put your name in the comments. Look, this is going to be interactive. Like, I'm not a boring guy. I see 11 people on here. I want you to tag a friend, or somebody in the LTD community. I need you to say, look, y'all need to be on this show right here. This show is the one. So we're going to learn. And like I always tell people, I don't have the answers, but if I don't know it, we're going to learn together. And I may chicken out a little bit and say, I don't know, but maybe somebody can go into the comments, or maybe they can Google it for us, and then they can put it in the comments. And then now we can still continue to make this show work and make it one of the best streams that's out here, because that's the ultimate goal at the end of the day, is to help Nilesh build this community up to where every time Nilesh goes live, he's got, if there's 11,000 people in this community, we need to at least see 1,000.
Yeah. Yes.
We need to see 1,000. So come on, I need y'all to tag a friend. I need you to somebody that you know in the LTD community, just tag them and say, y'all need to be on this show.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for the support, and hopefully we get there, right? That's the goal. And I'm just basically, go ahead.
And before you do it, we need to get our adult beverages out. So this is my drink of choice. I don't care what I know he has brews. What is it? Brews and what?
LTDs? Brews and LTDs. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So today we're going to have just adult beverages and vMix. That's what it's going to
be. Yes. I did not get my brew today, but we'll have to do a brew, like a chill session. And you got to join us, because we do, like, when we do like a brews and LTDs, like we'll have like 4 or 5 people. So it's normally a lot more, the focus is like not just one person. There's going to be a lot more talking with 5 different people going on. So and you get the time to enjoy your beverage. But when it's just like 2 people, probably you want to do a little bit more talking. So with that said, I think Ruhani had joined. Aditya had joined as well.
I've been waiting on Ruhani. I know Ruhani. I know he's. I watched that show that you did last night with Laurel, and I thought that was an amazing show that you did with her with OBS. So definitely shout out to you and her, because she said some things to me, and I'm like, man, that makes so much sense. Oh, I didn't know that. You know what? I kind of underestimated OBS. So, but I think at the end of the day, I think it's just a matter of what platform fits your needs and what you want to do with it, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And you know what? I am going to jump into vMix. Ruhani is asking a question around here. I was a bit overwhelmed with vMix. What's the beginners? But for sure, we are going to jump into vMix, Ruhani, very shortly. I want to, before we get there, thank you for the compliments for the show yesterday. Like Laurel is outstanding, right? And like with her social media expertise, she has quite a lot of following, as well as she has her own stream, and the way she has her whole studio and the OBS. I mean, I haven't actually explored into OBS at all. I straight away jumped into Ecamm Live, and I know you are part of the Ecamm Live community as well. Although you are using vMix, I mean, that's a pretty amazing community, right? What do you think about it?
So everybody knows, anybody that watches the tech show that I host on Wednesday evenings, I am not a Mac guy. I do not like anything Apple. I do not like anything iOS.
Yes.
I was actually, I guess I was kind of forced into the group. We won't tell anybody in the Ecamm community that. But I'm team Droid, I'm team PC. But the people that are in the Ecamm community, they are so awesome. They're helpful. You can learn. If you have questions, they're willing to help you. They have courses. I'm not on the course level. I just tell you the answers. Now, video production, that's something totally different. But that community, if you're into Mac, it's no different from the vMix community, the 3 or 4 communities that I'm involved with. We ask technical questions, but you can ask something that's basic and elementary, and they'll still take the time to assist you. So I think both communities are awesome. I just heard of Ecamm within the last year because of the pandemic, but I've been knowing about vMix for years. So my thought process on Ecamm is, like I said, they're a company that's growing, and because of the pandemic, I think they've gotten a lot more awareness, because originally when it was about streaming, you could really primarily only stream through OBS, vMix, XSplit, Wirecast. I'm not sure if it was Livewire or not. And then there was another one that started with an S. I cannot think of the name of it. But no one was on Mac. And now, because of the pandemic, Ecamm became, the front runner for all your Mac users. So I'm not a Mac guy. I tell you straight up, I don't know anything about Mac. I don't know anything about iPhone, but the community is awesome.
Yes. And let's jump into a little bit about your show. So okay. The Lab Tech Show. I know you're not a Mac guy, but what's the Lab Tech Show? And we have seen promotional videos in the community, and thanks for sharing it. That's quite remarkable that you actually do a promotional video for the actual live show, and not a lot of people do that. So what's your thought behind doing it? And would you recommend that, first of all, like to do a promotional video for the actual stream? And then the next piece is like, how did your show come about, the Lab Tech Show, and what topics do you cover?
So, all right, this is what I need. I need everybody to pull out a pen and a piece of paper. We're going to take some notes. We're going to have some fun today. Yeah. Pull out your notepad on your phone, because these are some things that you're going to hear. But when you write it down, I want you to, if you write it down, 9 times out of 10, you'll probably be more willing to start putting things into action, right?
Yes.
So let's just be honest. Let's just grab a piece of paper, a pen, pull up your notes on your phone, whatever you use, and let's just be honest, all right? Now, like I said, this is all about a story today, all right? So think about it. Honestly, you have a business and you want to talk about your product, right? And if I want people to watch, what does your favorite TV show do all week on ABC, NBC, CBS, or whatever your favorite channel is in another country, right? They
Yes.
promote it.
Yes.
So I
Very good.
found Big View, which was a LTD,
Yes.
and they allowed us to have a teleprompter that comes on our phone. So I was like, hey, I have this teleprompter over here. I need to use this big old iPad that's down here on the phone. So that's the only iOS product that's in my house that my little brother gave me because I just needed a tablet and I did not want to go out and buy one. And he says, well, I have this older one. And I said, as long as I can download DV Prompter. So keep in mind, DV Prompter is if you have an iPad or Android or iOS, or Big View, where you can actually write down whatever you want to say in your notes on your phone. You can copy and paste it, put it in the Big View. And when you put it in the Big View, you can set the timer speed to go the way you read it. And then you can incorporate your music. You can incorporate the subtitles. You can even do your colors where it's bold or it's highlighted, which is yellow or blue. And then I think you can even put it in your own respective languages. And then after that, you share it. But isn't that what a TV show does when it comes to a promotion? So if
Yeah.
I want you to watch my show and they're saying, hey, don't forget to watch the Grammys. Hey, don't forget to watch The Simpsons. Don't forget to watch whatever your favorite show may be. Are they not saying Wednesday, 8 p.m. Check out the Lab Tech Show. Who,
Yes.
what, when, where, and why. Remember that. Write that down. Who, what, when, where, why. So who am I? What am I doing? When is it? Where is it at? And why? And
Yes.
I tell you, if you guys have seen any of my videos, I've always said, here's the topics that we're going to talk about, where you can find the show, when it comes on, and who I am, right?
Yes.
And where it's going to be.
Yes. And do you so because it covers some of the latest news, right? In Big View is also an LTD, so I think you would be one of the power users of that particular LTD compared to the rest of the community. What is your thoughts on Big View? Is it a really good platform? Like, do you use it for all your like teleprompter needs? Does that meet all your teleprompter needs?
So to be honest with you,
Yes.
Big View and Switchboard Live are my two most used LTDs that I use, period, because
Yes.
I'm using them every week, right?
Yes.
I have some other ones that I love, but Big View is really a sleeper. And let's just be honest, not everyone likes to be in front of the camera. So it may not be for you if you don't like to be in front of the camera, but maybe you can find your kid. Let your kid be your. Remember, what did I tell you in the beginning? I wanted to endorse consumer products. You can do it in 3 easy steps, right? I wanted to be that Billy Mays. I wanted to be the Callie Lewis, aka Loria Petrucci. I wanted to be the Shaq. So my thing was, if I can't promote my own product, what makes you think another company is willing to allow me to promote the product? So if you're not the one that's willing to get out there and
Yeah.
put your face out there, find somebody that's in your house, get your wife, get your husband, get your kids. I'm pretty sure somebody at your church, hey, would you be willing to help me out? If I write out the script, would you be willing to read this off and make it look good and then post it on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn? Because that's what I do every week.
Some really, really thoughtful advice there, TB, and as well as great tips, right? I want to touch base a little bit on Loria Petrucci. So you said so she has this the live streaming pros show. So you know her from before.
So I've actually met her. So I've actually met her twice, and it's so funny because I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Consumer Electronics Show, but I am a big techie.
Yes.
I am a big techie.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time that I met Loria Petrucci, I almost had a fan moment, like, oh my God, that's Callie Lewis,
Yes.
And you're just walking the halls and you're just at I cannot think of it. I cannot think of the event that we were at. But when I saw her, she had her whole team and she was just so cool, so down to earth. And just to see how she's transitioned from where she was when I first met her, to meeting her a little bit later, a couple years later, and to now where she's at now and how she's being so helpful for people that want to be in the live streaming game. I mean, she is a blessing in disguise because she's giving you free advice every single day. She's consistent every day at 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Like she's giving it to you. I think maybe even Monday through Saturday, if I'm correct.
Yes.
So she's an awesome person to get to know if you want to have or learn anything about production, setup. And I think she's part of the Ecamm community for
She is.
all the Mac users.
Yes.
And I think her previous partner, he was a PC guy. But
Yes.
if you go back and look at some of their older videos, they've been in this game so long, back when everybody was testing certain products that were expensive that the average person could not afford. And you really had to, make a serious commitment of, do I pay my mortgage or do I invest in this product? So, but they've been in it to where now live streaming has now become a lot more affordable to people like us that are in this community.
Yes, absolutely. No, I really, really enjoy Luria's live stream, and the energy they bring into the before the stream, and it's just amazing, right? Like, so going back to the lab tech show,
Okay.
so you do that show with someone, and it is also an interactive show. You have quite a big audience. So what kind of topics do you touch? Is it mostly Android, Windows based platforms, or technology related stuff? Can you touch base on that a little bit? What does that show cover?
All right. So originally the show started out.
Hello. Hey, is the stream? Oh, yeah, you're here. You're here.
Hey, we're live streaming. This happens.
Yes.
So originally we started this show together in collaboration. A good friend of mine, and the original part of doing the show was met him at CES, and it was like, hey, this guy, I like what you're all about. I like what you're all about. Let's find a way to work together in the near future. The pandemic had presented itself, right?
Yes.
And the pandemic said, hey, you know what? You're on the West Coast. I'm in the South. Let's find a way to connect and create a show. So I think last year, all the way up until maybe 3 weeks ago, we were coworkers or partners with this show. And the biggest issue for me was I wanted to be able to create content to tell people who are afraid of tech, intimidated by tech, or probably not intuitive with technology. And it was finding articles that made sense to say, hey, these are trends, these are tech news that you need to pay attention to because these things are going to roll out. And we're not going to know anything about it, whether it was the COVID Vax card, whether you can download the app Drizzly and you can have alcohol delivered to your door in 1 hour or less, whether it was, what's another thing that happened? AI is now at McDonald's in Chicago. If they're doing artificial intelligence in the drive-through now, that's going to eventually happen, right? So we need to let you know what's going on. And we just try to find stories that just really make sense. Disney Plus has a bundle out right now. So we just try to find 4 stories, make it 1 hour. We're not trying to keep you there all night long because we know you're probably like, that's a lot of tech. We're not trying to bombard you with a lot of stories. So we decided to say, hey, let's just keep it to 1 hour. And from there, we just basically give you the news. Within the last 3 weeks, we've had to make a little shift to where I'm now hosting it and I don't have a permanent host. So I am still trying to find my way through the swamp and try to figure it out and say, all right, how do I keep this show alive and still keep it going? Because I still want to educate you, entertain you, and inform you of what's going on in the tech world. So I know it's not all about LTDs. I think there was 1 or 2 people that I did reach out that were some people that I thought it could probably benefit from and say, hey, you might be interested in this product here. and let me bring you onto my show. So if you know anyone that's intimidated by tech, scared of tech, may not be informed that much in tech, I welcome them to the show on Wednesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And we literally hash it out and we figure it out together. And all it is the news that's being reported. Delta is now doing it to where when you fly, this is a real story. Delta has it made set up right now. They're doing it in Detroit and they're doing it in Atlanta, to where is you have the app, you already have your known travel number. You've gone through the passport where you get your what do they call that?
Trusted travelers, like Nexus.
Yeah. Right. So you've already given all your information up to the government already, right?
Yes.
So if you have the app, you have that trusted, that whatever it is with TSA PreCheck, that's what it's called.
Yes.
And you go through their app. You don't even have to check your bags in. You literally do your own self bag tag. They have a camera that sits right there at the bottom of the terminal. You go there and you basically check yourself. Once you get the green check, you go to TSA PreCheck. You don't give them your ticket. You literally stand in front of the camera. They check you. You go to the gate and you tell them that you don't have a ticket. You have this program that they're a part of, and they check you again. You never gave a ticket. You never exchanged any documents, and you're on the plane and you didn't even touch anybody.
That's pretty cool.
So if this happens with Delta now, don't you think that this is going to eventually happen with all the other major airlines?
Absolutely. I mean, just a matter of time, but that's something which should happen. Like, I mean, with this day and age and the world we live in, you definitely want everything as much as contact free as possible and as much as hassle free, right? So, yeah.
Well, look, the pandemic allowed this to happen. I mean, and no disrespect, and I have nothing but respect for anybody that have lost their lives because of 9/11. But remember, 9/11, pre 9/11, we could all go to the airport and you can literally go to the terminal and meet your family there, right?
Yes.
But post 9/11, you can't even get past security checkpoint. So now because of COVID, we've now changed the way we've done things. And so I think unfortunately, when we have unfortunate incidents, they say, well, how can we make things better or make them a little bit more smoother, as opposed to rolling these out within the 20 years from 9/11 to COVID.
Yes.
So,
yes. I think we have a few more folks joining. Just want to give them a quick call out. Hey, Jenny, thanks for joining in. Zav Tai had joined as well. Hey, Zav. I hope I'm saying your name right, Zav. If I'm not, please let me know. Okay. So we have everybody else covered. Now, talking about the show and vMix, have you always been a vMix user?
No.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
So let's break it down real quick. As L'Oreal Petrucci says all the time, there's 3 levels of live streaming. 1, your phone. All right. You got your phone, and you can literally go to Facebook Live, go to Instagram Live, go to Twitter, and go live there. Go to LinkedIn, probably. I'm not sure if you can do it on your cell phone or not, but those are going to your phone. You literally plug your microphone or your Bluetooth in, press live, you're there.
Yes.
The second form is browser-based. So that's your Restream, that's your StreamYard. So you basically log on just like you go onto Facebook, just like you go to YouTube, and they have templates that are already made, right?
Yes.
And then you have your third level, which is not browser-based, but you now have
native operating systems, like
your actual operating systems with that are actually doing it.
Yes.
So you have your eCams, you have your OBSs, and you have your vMixes and your XSplits.
Yes.
I think that you can do Wirecast as well, but I don't think Wirecast is as popular as the other 3 that I've used. So I started out with XSplit because they had a great one-time offer, because I'm not a big fan of subscriptions. And I said,
Yes.
oh, I can buy this. And you should have seen me back in 2015. I mean, if you would have known me in 2015, it was like I couldn't figure out how to get this thing up and going. I couldn't get it to work. I was really struggling. And I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. I had this big Roland V4EX mixer, and I was trying to plug it in, plug my cameras in, and I didn't have a strong enough computer. So before you even think about going vMix, Ecamm, I don't know about OBS, make sure you have the right computer. And when I mean by that, minimum quad core processor. I say an i7 processor. You got to have memory. I think I have 32 gigs of RAM. I have a terabyte of solid state drive storage. So I made sure that my laptop could do the things that it needed to do to be able to stream live and not have any problems. I still have problems, which I should not. But you have to make sure that you have the right hardware. So before you even get started, do you even have the proper tools to be equipped? The best thing, the best case in point, a police officer does not go out on the street without his gun, right? He's not going to
Yes.
go out on the street without his baton. So if you're going to do this, honestly, do you have the proper computer? So like I said, I highly recommend an i7 processor. You could probably get away with it with an i5, but let's just be honest. If you do an i5, you're going to want to play with it. You're going to want to max out all your guests, and you might not have enough memory or enough space to be able to do the computer may not be powerful enough. So start out with an i7, 1 terabyte of solid state drive, 32 gigs of RAM of memory. You could probably get away with 16 gigs, but remember, you want to future proof yourself, if that makes any sense. So the police do not go out on the streets with just, a baton,
Yes.
unless you're in the UK. So, so I mean, that's just being honest. So once you have that, then now you have to go out and go get the proper capture cards. You have to go make sure you have the right cameras, make sure you have the microphones and your mixer to be able to do whatever else that you need to do. So those are like the basic functionalities. But before you even think about going vMix, you better make sure that you are equipped to be able to tell your story effectively without it shutting down or freezing.
Yes. Some really, really valuable information there. And, I completely agree with you when you mentioned about browser-based applications like, Restream or OneStream. For sure. One of the thing is there is a limitation in terms of the software encoder being in the cloud, right? When you have a native app like OBS or Ecamm Live or vMix, really the sky is the limit, and you're only limited by the resources you have. So the type of camera, if it's 4K capable, or if you have a multi-camera production, and if you have all the encoders to connect from the camera to your laptop. I know you use ATEM Mini and things of that nature, but really you are limited only by what resources you have if you have the software native to your operating system. But when you go to the cloud, I have seen people streaming with Restream, and it's okay, it's good, but Restream, like, man, the lifetime deal, it's okay. I'm using Restream right now, but I'm using it in combination with Ecamm Live. And if you use it in combination with vMix, it's great. By itself, it's no good. The resolution is terrible. Like, once you start sharing your screen, it's very hard to read what's on that screen, and it can immediately, disengage the audience suddenly if they can't see what is being shared on your screen. So
can I be honest?
yes.
Restream, really, the way they initially sold Restream, and because let's just be honest, for me, I got into the LTD community because of Restream, because when the pandemic hit, I never heard of LTDs. I didn't know what lifetime deals. I didn't know what any of this stuff meant until Restream I was like, I don't want to pay for this subscription. How can I get this cheaper? And then somebody, I don't know where I was at on some Facebook post, and they said Restream had an LTD. So, me, I'm like, what's an LTD? So my thing was
Yes.
lifetime deal. So then it was like, yeah, go to Stack Social, go to AppSumo, go to whatever other website it may have been.
Yes.
And I'm like, they had this? And I said, oh, they're not going to give this up. Like, they're not going to make this an LTD again. And so the way Restream initially sold themselves was you can stream to multiple platforms at the same time.
Yes.
Live streaming was not part of the part of the package. It was something that would be as an add-on. So remember, it was the stream in multiple places at the same time. It was go to Facebook, go to go to RTMP, and go to YouTube, and then they had all these other random locations that I've never heard of before. So that's how it was initially introduced to all of us in the LTD community. But because of the pandemic and StreamYard was starting to get that wave and that momentum, because they got that momentum, they were like, hey, we're now releasing our own version of live streaming. And so I actually lost a job because I did not know this, and I was using XSplit, and we were having a lot of problems. And I'm like, well, the only way Restream really works is for you to share it to multiple locations. And they were like, no, you can live stream, and we're going to just go in a different direction. I was not happy because I lost a job. And I mean, my coin just got messed up, right? So I'm like, okay, let me check out what this Restream is all about. And then when I started to see what it was all about, I saw that it was browser based, and I saw it did not have the functionalities that an XSplit could do. And so because I was having problems with XSplit, I'm not going to say anything bad about XSplit, but I will say when I had problems with XSplit, there's no phone number that you can call, but there's a live chat functionality, and they respond very fast. But the problem was when I ran into problems, I needed answers right then because my show was starting in 5 or 10 minutes. And why is this not working? Why am I getting double sound? Why am I experiencing this issue? Why am I experiencing that issue? And it was like, you're going to have to switch services. And all I kept hearing was vMix or OBS, vMix or OBS. And I just kept thinking to myself, and this is no disrespect to Laurel, I'm so sorry when I say this, Laurel, but I just kept thinking to myself, I know it's free, but there's got to be a catch. And I just did not want to get caught with, I just didn't want to get caught, if that makes sense. So I just told myself, no, I'm going to ride. And I was stubborn. I was very stubborn. I really wanted to stick with vMix. Stick with XSplit because I paid this lifetime deal and I'm going to make it work. And what I found out was there's no XSplit community. There's a XSplit gaming community, but there's no XSplit streaming community. There's no support whatsoever. So I'm not knocking OBS. I'm not knocking XSplit, but there's no community when you run into problems. You have to just know somebody that just happened to know it. But when I go over to Facebook and go to type in vMix, there's 2 or 3 communities that come up, and then I ask a question, and just like that, within 2 minutes, I get a response from somebody, because I guess the vMix community is so, large, somebody is seeing it, and next thing you know, you're getting answers. So I understand Ecamm has 1 community, but vMix has 2 or 3 of them, and everyone is willing to help at a moment's notice. So I think it was kind of, and I was stubborn because I did not want to pay the $350 to bring in 1 guest. And then it was like, oh, I need to be able to bring in, multiple guests. And so they have different tiers.
Yeah.
And then they just launched their max deal where you can pay a $50 monthly fee, which was not available back in 2015 when I met Martin and I met Tom. So I never, when I met them live here in Atlanta, everyone was telling me it was the first live streaming conference ever. and they flew in from Australia, came to Atlanta. I got a chance to meet them, and I was using XSplit, and the group was very helpful. They were like, "Hey, tall boy, get rid of this hardware. Everything is going software based." And all I kept thinking was, I just dropped $2,000 on this mixer, and they said that I'm supposed to be able to switch. But all I kept thinking of television, not
Yeah.
understanding that the internet was starting to move over to where everything is now software based.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, there is other like deals as well, like from a lifetime deal perspective, who have like something very similar to what Restream has, because they have the Restream live studio, right? I think OneStream is doing that. Video Link has that now as well. But you are never going to have those kind of controls which you have
Right.
in software in a browser-based solution. It just doesn't work. The whole convenience of having Stream Deck and that tactile response and changing scenes makes the life a little bit easier. Now, practice is another thing, but we can get into that later. For somebody who's just starting to stream, like and who's camera shy, how do you build up the courage to go into streaming?
How do you build up the courage? You got to start.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no if, ands, buts about it. I mean, it's like when you first got on a bike. The first time I ever got on a bike, I had on training wheels and I ran into a tree. And I'm like, my mom was laughing. I was a little kid. I ran into a tree and I threw the bike on the ground and I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm not doing this. And it was like, no, you're going to get back on this bike and you're going to do it again. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I ran into this tree and you're laughing at me, and what they say, once you learn how to ride a bike, you never have to learn. You never learn again. I mean, it's there, the muscle memory. So this is nothing but muscle memory. I am not a professional. I make mistakes every week, but I start to have my little sticky notes. YouTube, turn off, enable auto stop, record the show, check audio. These are little sticky notes that are on my monitor right here. And so, I mean, these are things that when you make mistakes, and I think Laurel was speaking on this last night where she recorded the whole stream and she did it with no audio. And I was just thinking to myself, like, I've had that happen before.
Yes.
And I produce another show, and those women, when I do this R&B show, so it's not the tech show that I just do by myself, but I also produce shows for people who don't have the equipment or that just they don't want to focus on the production. They want to focus on just being the talent and just focusing on the guests. And their guests were their audience was saying, tall boy audio. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, what am I doing wrong? So I'm over here panicking in the background. And I now know, check audio before I even go. We do test runs before we do it. And the three things, the live streaming is test, test, test. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with just testing. Even today, Neelish and I, we tested. And it was like, let's just make sure everything works well before we get on this stream, trying to figure it out as we go.
Yes. And with all that testing, I think we should move to the next part about you sharing the thing. But before that, think big, think tall. I noticed that. Is that your merch?
Yes. Well, I've had this for a very long time. I don't know if you can see this or not, but
yeah, I do see it. Think big, think
so if you
tall.
watch any of my videos, at the very end of my videos, there's always a saying that says, think big, think tall boy. So think big means think big, believe in God, think tall, sky's the limit, think tall boy because he said so and he's doing it. And so I think when it all started out for me in this journey of interviewing and doing video production, when I first started, like, I literally went off on a prayer and I got this interview with Bill Clinton. And then it was like, the sky's the limit. If you can interview Bill Clinton, you can pretty much interview anybody, they put their pants on the same way that I do. Right. Yeah. And then think tall boy because he said so and he's doing it. So I had these t-shirts made, and I had some other t-shirts made, and I'm in the process of getting some more made as well. But my website needs, I need to get in contact with Joe. I hope he's affordable because, like, see, he specializes in building websites, right? And SEO. That's his thing, right? But
Yeah, yeah. He
that's
does
not
a lot of branding and marketing.
yeah.
So
But
Joe's
that's his thing, right?
yeah. So if your site is in WordPress, Rouhani is the guy for
Oh, maybe I
WordPress.
need to talk to Rahani then because that's not my thing, and I'm in the process of I need a new website like bad, and I know what I want, but I don't know what I want. But see how I can talk strongly and effectively about live streaming and all these other things as far as being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Writing copy and building out websites is not my thing. I bought a LTD called WebWave, and they said it was going to be so easy to do, and I just felt like that was a waste of my money because I can't figure it out and I need help.
Yeah. I'm sure. Maybe look into maybe once you have sort of an idea. I'm sure Joe and Rouhani would be happy to help you out and talk a little bit more. But let me jump into the question which Lyle has. He's saying, do you multi-stream to different platforms at the same time or primarily to one? Do you go
Yes.
live on your show more than once a week? I'm
No.
in the market for new computer, being a Mac guy for a few years, but considering PC again, as I want to stream more. So thanks for mentioning what your setup is.
Okay.
That's
So
all.
the first question is, do you multi-stream to different platforms at the same time or primarily to one? So me, the tech show, I go to YouTube where I try to drive them to that website. But then what people don't know is I stream on LinkedIn and I also stream on Facebook. The only problem with vMix is you can only bring in comments through YouTube or a Facebook personal or business page. So you can't, not a personal, but a business page or a brand page. So no personal pages. So that kind of sucks, right? If I'm on
Yeah.
my personal page and I can't bring comments in, but I can bring them in on YouTube. But I'm also streaming on LinkedIn, but I can't bring in my comments through vMix Social. And that is frustrating for me because this is kind of where a restream would come in. But the thing about restream, they come up on that little tab and you can, the comments come in natively,
Yeah.
and I can't bring them in the way I want to bring them in. Just like how you brought Laos comment on. Maybe I don't want maybe I don't want the audience to see that comment. I can't do it with vMix on my Facebook personal or my LinkedIn. I think you can do it with Twitch.
Yeah.
Not, I think you can do it with Twitch, and I think you can do it with. Give me 1 second. I'll look and check on my vMix Social. You can do Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and I'm not sure what IRC is. I've never seen IRC before,
Yeah.
but
IRC used
Periscope,
to be
Facebook. You said what?
popular. IRC used to be popular. Like it's mostly IRC networks, probably. I don't know if that's what it's talking about, but yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what, and you can only bring comments on one account. So that's kind of like where Restream is very effective. That's where StreamYard is great. And I think you can bring those comments in, but you can't have them pop up on the screen like this, the way Lau's comment, how Nilesh was able to bring in Lau's comment. So that's, did I freeze? Did I
No,
freeze
no,
on you?
no. You're still here.
Oh, okay. All right. So you can bring in the comments only on one platform. So that's the only downside about Facebook that I don't like. You can't bring in those comments on multiple platforms. What was the other one? And believe it or not, I use Switchboard Live. Had a chance to talk to Rudy on the phone. And when I talked to Rudy, I called the number and he actually answered the phone. You're thinking you're going to get a tech support guy. It was literally the owner of the company on the phone selling the product. And I was kind of hesitant. And I should have bought more deals. I should have bought more than just that one deal. But I use Switchboard Live to be able to stream to up to 5 different streams.
Yes.
Do I go live more than on your show? Do you go live on your show more than once a week? No. So my show is a weekly show, and then I have an R&B show that I go live. I think she kind of goes bi-weekly now. At first it was every week, but now she's going or tri-weekly. So once a month or sometimes twice a month, she goes. So I I think the biggest thing is, do you have enough content? That's really what it boils down to. So, like for my tech show, I don't think people want to hear tech every day. I don't think now with the pandemic pretty much saying that, people are saying that the pandemic is over, people don't want to be in front of their computers every day. So, trying to get music artists to sit down and do a live stream with you. In the beginning, it was kind of cool to see your favorite music artist doing a live stream with you, right? Now, people don't want to sit down with you, and they don't want to go through the proper channels. So what we've learned is, as one of the publicists or the manager said, everybody does not know how to interview. So you have to kind of field or weed out, certain people. So it's just trying to find content that makes sense and making it, how do you scale it, or how do you make it, measurable to where it helps you?
Absolutely. And you know in terms of like content, everybody doesn't know how to interview, like for sure. That's like but you can learn it over a period of time once you actually
Well, it's a skill
do it
set.
do it a few times, right? Like, I think you would have to develop it like over a
Yeah.
period of time, right?
Yeah, it's a skill set. At the end of the day, interviewing is a skill set, no different from learning SEO, no different from building websites, no different from speaking in front of a camera and reading from a teleprompter. Everybody can't read from a teleprompter. You just
Yes.
can't. You
Yes.
just can't. And people are like, I'm just going to go off the top of the dome. No, you need to be scripted. And so I'll say this and share this briefly. I had a young lady that I was doing a commercial for, and she just thought, I said, I only have an hour to give you, but I'm going to assist you with your project, and hopefully we'll be able to show this video when I go in to my vMix. But she wanted to go off the top of her head and just tell me her product, and I said, no, we need to sit down and write out a script. And she was like, Tallboy, I can't do that. And we literally sat her down, and I think the commercial was 1 minute. Literally, we wrote out a script: who, what, when, where, why. And we struggled, and she thought that this was, I wasted your time, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that this was going to be as difficult as it was. I tried to make it as easy. I made it, fun for her, to the best of my ability. But then when I went back into my editing suite, she was just so amazed with what I was able to do for her, that she was like, oh my God, you turned, this into gold. And she was just so happy with the final product. But it just took practice.
Talking of which, why don't you share your screen and we jump into vMix a little bit?
All right. vMix, where are we at?
It's just a matter of like, when the first time we did a stream, like Win and me, we were just like, okay, there was not really planned overlays and things, but you learn, right? Like we learned, we evolved a little bit. And once you get your flow, right, like you can do a lot of very cool things too. So the next thing would be for us to maybe do some sponsor videos and things of that nature. But eventually it all happens, right? It's not going to, have you seen the show JP High Tech? Do you know this gentleman? JP
Yes,
High
I
Tech.
know.
Wow.
I know of him.
Yeah. He does a lot of sponsored content, right? I mean, how difficult is it to get like sponsored deals and things? Like, do you do any sponsored shows and things of that nature?
Well, that's the ultimate goal for me, is to get to that level. And I think that's kind of where the business sense comes in.
Yes.
So like you said, you think that I have an awesome show, right?
You have an
So
amazing show.
So you think I have an amazing show. So maybe I need to reach out to some sponsors. But I think at the end of the day, I think it's all in how you market it and you package it. And if someone's interested, I think that's where somebody who specializes in sales, I think that's where they win at, right?
Yes.
Because that's what they do. I'm not a salesperson. I don't go out and sell. I just say, hey, I can turn your project or turn your product into life. So whatever you look at the show, look at the commercial. I mean, look at the commercial. I've turned this intro video into life now. And now as you start to go on, but my thing was if I came to you and packaged it, you probably wouldn't be like, no, tall boy, I don't know about all that, and that probably would have been, but it just comes with it's a skill. It's a skill set. That's it. And so I just think it's just a matter of you saying, I want to lock down targeted sponsors that fit this demo or that fit this audience, and then you kind of go from there.
Excellent. So I see you have shared your screen. Let me just go back into this scene here and bring you in as well. Okay. So there you are. Now we are in here. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's talk about vMix. I think maybe we can remove both of us from this. Sorry, one thing. Okay. Can you talk a little bit about this screen? This is like, your setup for vMix, of course, what you're sharing. Can you give an overview of about the different windows, tabs, and menu? Yeah.
Okay. So let's just start from the beginning, or I guess to the end. So this on the left is my preview screen, right?
Yes.
And then on the right is my actual output screen. So what you see in red, I know that is going to be live. So if I'm live right now, all you're going to see is show starting soon. And
Very
then
cool.
I say I want to do a cut, I want to do a fade, I want to merge, I want to zoom, I want to cube, or I want to fade to black, which the screen would fade to black if you were actually streaming. Okay. So, and then these numbers here allow you to do quick, say like you had like an overlay with the name. And I just do this together at the last minute as opposed to pulling up one of my other previous vMix setups already. And then you have this here, which is a fader. And then you have your countdown clock or your stream clock, and then your actual time of where you are right now. And then these are your actual scenes down here at the bottom. So, so if I wanted to click this here, and remember, this is preview. So whatever I click over here, it automatically clicks. It automatically goes into preview. While over here on the red, that is your live feed. So all people see is this here, but I'm over on the left and I'm saying, all right, I want to have this. So whatever I click on the computer.
Oh, who is that handsome looking gentleman there on the screen?
Let me go ahead and merge them. There we go. So now he's now live, right? So with that being said, we're going to go back to this one over here. And then let's see. So if you wanted to add a scene, you would go into your add input, and then you would select, do you want to do a video? Most people don't use DVDs. You have lists where if you had a number of things that you wanted to do, whether it was audio or video, if you wanted to bring in your camera, you can find your respective camera that you have connected. And then do you want to bring in NDI? Do you want to bring in SRT? They even have instant replay with the version that I have. So if you're doing a sports stream, you can actually set up to where you're doing a replay of something that just happened, and just like a sporting event.
Yeah.
I'm not sure with the image sequence and the stingers, but like the stinger when you watch the news and they say
yes,
whatever it is, and then the channel of the screen pops up real quick. That's there. I've never used video delay. Image allows you to select only photos, but only one at a time. Photos allow you to select a group of photos, and when you play it, they all come together into one file. So it's actually one actual scene, whereas with image, it's only one photo. So if I just said, all right, I'm just going to bring in this picture here and then hit OK, then at the bottom, that picture right here just came in, and I selected that, and then I wanted him to come onto the screen. So this is one of the members of the R&B group called the Rude Boys.
Yep.
And so he's a very big popular R&B group from the 90s. But we'll put Nilesh back up on the screen. Let's see, what else do we have? You have PowerPoint, where you can bring in a PowerPoint presentation. I'm not sure about color. Audio, if you wanted to bring in sound effects, music, or any type of audio, you can bring it in here. Your audio input is for you, to where you can hear yourself. You always want to mute in headphones so you don't have the double audio, but you select the audio device that you want to go off of. And so you select, so if you're doing a Zoom call or you're bringing in Zoom users, you can bring in through that way. XSplit Broadcaster, where do you want to route your audio, if that makes any sense? Let's see. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah. So, in how long does it take for, if somebody has to start streaming, let's say with vMix, this is your setup. How long did it take for you? Do you offer any type of services around vMix where you can, like do like a 1 day shadowing, and of course like a paid service where they can learn from you? And
I've never thought of that.
Okay.
I've never thought of that. I mean, it's something that I can do, but I mean, I just never thought of it.
Okay.
Like here, for example, with your title, you can now have I have a ticker tape. Say I want to bring in your name. Well, let's bring in this one here. And then I want to just say, okay.
Can you do like remote productions and stuff?
Yes.
So, okay. So you would be open to remotely producing a show? Do you produce?
Yes, I can. So that's what I do now. With the R&B show, the young lady is based out of Kansas City. I'm in Atlanta, and her guests are coming from all over the United States. So today, before we did our actual live stream, I did a test run with her guest, and we did a vMix call, which I had not got a chance to get down there yet. But we can bring in up to 8 callers. I do not recommend that, but today we had 3 callers plus her was 4, and then I made 5. So we had 5 people literally in the show. So we were literally using this box here. So we had overlays created for Miss Watley Presents Old School Tuesday Turn Up. And so now we literally put the guest inside of each one of these respective boxes. So let's just say I wanted to, for example, no, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. I wanted to bring in Nilesh, and I would love for somebody that would be open to trying this with me, and I can give you a number and you can call, and I can have you come in as a test run if you would be open to it.
What service do you use? We talked about this yesterday, actually, all on Laurel's, while Laurel was giving a overview of OBS. So when you want to bring guest people into the show, what service do you recommend? Like, do you use like a particular, especially if you want to isolate the audio, do like repurpose this for podcast and things? Do you just like do it over a phone call, or?
So they have a service called vMix Call.
Yeah,
and this is why vMix costs the way it costs, right?
Yes.
So because you have in your different callers, and they're basically pulling, and I don't want to mess up the wording, but you got to think you're bringing in these different callers from all over the world, and I think for their HD version, you can bring in 1 guest. For your 4K version, you can bring up to 4 or 5 guests.
Yeah.
And then for your pro version, you can bring in up to 8 guests. So that's $1,200 for the pro, $700 for the 4K, $350 for the HD, and then I think for the basic is 60, but you're not allowed to bring in any callers. So basically, you're paying for the instant replay and the guest call. I mean, for you to bring in multiple guests, if that makes sense. So if anybody's open, I don't care who it is. Just all of you guys don't call at once. I don't know how we can do it, but if we could just get somebody to type in, can you put this in the comments real quick?
Yes.
Maybe I can do it. Advanced dot vmix call.com, and then so you click that, and then you put in your name, and then this is going to be the number 381 09 486 87. And then if you dial that number, just one person, be the brave soul. And then I'll bring you in. We won't be able to hear you because we're just sharing my screen, but just click on that link there, and then click and type in that number in the password, and then you'll see that there will be a guest, and you can be remotely anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter where you are. I just need one guest, and we'll just put you on, and I'll show you how it works.
That's very cool. So they have a service. They give you
Rahani.
The dedicated numbers and everything for your guests.
So you get a new number. So here's Rahani. Hey Rahani, how you doing,
Rahani?
Rahani can't see me because I'm not sharing my screen, but you can see that that's Rahani right there. And so remember, on my left, I have you right there, right?
Yes.
And then so what I want to do is say, all right, I want to bring Rahani in. And so now all I do is go into my layers, multi-view. I know Rahani is call number 16. And then all I'm going to do is resize him and figure out where I want to put him. And then once I put him into the screen, and then so what I kind of do as a cheat sheet, once I find out what the number is that's on the right where it says 0.343 and I have it set up, I kind of write it down, because when you're on a computer, it's one number, and when you're on a cell phone, it's another number. So as you can see now, if I went live, Rahani cannot hear us, but as you can see, there's Rahani and there's you as a photo. And then let's just say I wanted to add a video, right? All on the same stream.
Yes.
Let's see, number 13. I think Rahani heard a little bit of that, but what we're going to do is we're going to go into shrink that a little bit. And then we're going to come over here, and then we're going to type in, what was that? 0.343, right?
Yep.
0.343. And it should automatically size. And now that I have it sized right there. And so I'm a stickler for not going over the bars. Some people don't care. But as you can see, I went a little bit over. But as you can see, there we are. We're live. And so you have a commercial going in one. You got your photo there. And then you have Rahani. And then you have the actual person that's actually doing the speaking or whatever. So you can do the same thing with 5. Remember, in the green for me is my I'm setting my scenes up.
Yes.
And then on the right hand side, that's the live feed. So your pre-production or your before you go live. So before you actually hit one of these buttons, cut, fade, merge, zoom, cube zoom, before you hit those buttons, you see it and you know that this is your preview screen to your left, and then on the right you have something. You have something. The left is the preview screen. The right is your live feed.
Yes. Yeah, I am not sure if you can do that part in Ecamm. I think once you're live, I'm not sure if you can edit the scenes. I'll have to check. I mean, I have never tried to because going live in itself, so I already plan my scenes and do that. But seems like in vMix, you can, even if you haven't planned a scene, you can work on the background, create a scene, and then bring that scene live.
And you can create the scene in real time. So while this is going live, so let's just say I played this video, right? So while I'm playing the video, and so, I forgot to talk about audio, because audio is very important, right? You got your master volume over here to your left. Then you have A, B, C, D, E, F. So these are your audio scenes that you have that you can control. And then, so let's just say I had set up to where I wanted to be on a back channel with Rouhani, and I can put him on my A channel, on my A bus, as they call it. And then I can talk to Rouhani on the back channel and say, I want to mute him. I don't want to mute him. I want to add him to my mix to master. So if I select that, then he'll be in my mix to master. So we could talk back and forth where nobody else can hear that conversation. And then remember, when I added videos, so like this one here, see where it says Tall Boy Birthday? When I go live, I have the volume turned down. Yeah. But right now it's it's muted. But if I did not mute it and I played it, the audio should be playing, and I'm not sure why it's not playing. So Rouhani can hear. So Rouhani can hear it, but you can't. But you can see. I can check my voice meters, and I can say, all right, here we go. I want it to be played high, or I want to mute my audio. So what I do is I control my levels, and for me, I like to make sure that it's turned all the way down. But when I fire off the video, and I can see where my levels are, so I have it high, or I can bring it down low, if that makes sense. And then if you want to loop it, you can loop as well. And if you want to close out, you just hit close, and it literally deletes the scene. So you just can't hit the screen and hit the delete button. You have to literally hit close. So for anyone that's interested in this, they have people that actually teach vMix. In the vMix group, they have monthly or quarterly sessions. And what I did was, there's a lot of YouTube tutorials for you to learn how to do this. There's a lot of tutorials that teach you, but I needed a person that can show me how to do this hands-on. And I just went on and just said, you know what, I'm going to invest in a 6-week course or an 8-week course, however many weeks it was. And then every week, I don't know if I have it, but every week we focused on different things. So we focused on audio, and I literally took notes. So I hope you guys took notes today. vMix call part 2, so I literally said, all right, I'm going to learn everything about vMix call, how it works, Zoom and Skype with vMix, sound settings, vMix, green screen, chroma key, outputs for NDI, outputs, full screen. So basically each week was a new functionality. And so here was the funny thing about this. I was trying to learn vMix, but then I also had a client that needed production, and I was literally learning how to do this in real time. So, but my thing was, for me as a service, I wanted to offer this to my community that I felt that needed or wanted production, right? And so since I was saying I want to offer this to you as a service, I had to learn certain things. And as I learned, I was learning as I was going, and I was practicing as much as I possibly could.
That's great. Hey, I just quickly checked. There is a feature in Ecamm Live as well. It's called Live Preview, and I can edit the scene while I'm live. I've never attempted to do this because I like to just like prepare. And if there is whenever we do like a brews and LTDs, and if there is more people, I just go and edit it live. But I should go into live preview mode from now on and edit it. So glad you brought it up. So now I'm going to try to attempt to do this, hopefully in one of those, if I need it. I hope I don't ever need to change the scene when I'm live, but if it does happen. Now, Does it isolate the audio tracks for all
Yes.
your guests? Yeah,
Yes.
that's amazing. And so you have a number. So you really, with vMix, it's very powerful. You can do a live stream. You can record your videos.
Yep. So you can record, and then when you record I have it set to where when I hit record, well, I think I can do it here. It tells you where you want to send your drive to, what size do you want it to be in, frame rate. You can go in and edit all of that, and you can actually record 2 setups. So you can record, if I'm correct, you can also record output 1 and output 2. Don't quote me on this, but you can record just the audio, and you can
Yeah.
also record just the video if that's what you want. And then you can have it in these formats that are on the left, which is AVI, WMV streaming, MP4, FF MPEG, and vMix API.
Yes. And on top of that, you also use ATEM Mini, and that's for your multiple camera inputs.
So here's the thing about the A10 Mini. The A10 Mini is pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to keep Rahani on. Rahani, you can stay if you like, or you can come back in. I'm not sure. I don't know how Nilesh wants to do this show. So if you want to stay on in here, just perfectly fine, because he may ask me to do something. I don't want you to be like, well, he's not doing anything. And he gave me a thumbs up.
Are you okay to stay, or you want to drop off, Rahani? Up to you. So you can drop off, really. I mean, just listen into.
So one of the so he can't see me. I'm over here waving at him. So the A10 Mini is pretty cool, right? So I have the original A10, and I have to thank my girlfriend for doing this, because I told her I wanted this A10 Mini for Christmas, and she bought it for me for Christmas, but it didn't come. And then so I kind of got mad, because I was like, man, you bought me this gift and it didn't come. And then Valentine's Day came, and I bought her this great Valentine's Day gift, and it was like, so I didn't get a Valentine's Day gift, and I didn't get a Christmas gift. I was really upset with her, right? And then the day after Valentine's Day, I get a package in the mail from FedEx or UPS, and there's the A10 Mini. So I was all excited about getting this A10 Mini, and it's really a cool device. But here's the downside. It's only one source. So yes, you can switch from camera 1, 2, 3, or 4. That's pretty cool, right? But remember, it's one source. So if I wanted to share 2 cameras at the same time, I would not be able to do that. I can only just switch from camera 1 that's facing me, or I can do camera 2 that's facing the side of me over here, camera 3 that could be an overhead, or camera 4, which is a wide angle. I can't put this on the screen. I don't think I can. Maybe I can. But this is really the game changer for me. This is my tech product of the year for anybody that's in live streaming. This is the J5 Create JVA06. They're a Georgia-based company. It's a capture card, but this thing is more than a capture card. So
what is it called?
It's called the J5 Create JVA06. They need to give me an affiliate link or something like this, because this is half the price of the A10 Mini, and it does 2 sources, mic, picture in picture, and not only that, you could take this out in the field and plug this up to your camera, and you can live stream with this with your camera out at the park or at your kid's sporting event with this device. You can do all of that.
That's outstanding.
This is amazing. So this is one of the cool things. So I think I just showed you here. So right now I'm on channel B. So now I switch, and if I did I do it right?
Yeah. You are just different.
Okay.
Camera.
I can't. Oh, okay. There it is.
It's a different camera and a different angle. Yeah.
Yep. So then if I wanted to come back to myself, then I can do BA. And then when I come back to myself, let's make sure I got it right. All right. So now I can go picture in picture. And then so with the picture in picture, I can have, and I can do it on all 4 angles of the frame that I'm in. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And then, so if I wanted to switch ABBA, I can literally switch the camera in real time by just literally hitting the button, and it will put me in the different formats here. So, like I said, a lot of people don't even know about this, but it's a Georgia-based company. I've been to their corporate headquarters. I've had a chance to meet the team. And when I got a chance to meet the team, I've been meeting them out at CES every year. And I finally just said, you know what? I'm going to go to CES. When I get back home, I'm going to go to their corporate headquarters and we're going to hang out with them. So, got a chance to meet them. They have awesome products, product offerings. But this right here is by far my tech product of the year, especially for live streaming. If you're in live streaming, I know the A10 Mini is awesome. But that right there, that steals the cake. I mean, that is the granddaddy of them all.
Very cool. Hey, I have just one thing I want to talk about before I lose my thought. CES. Are you going to go to the next upcoming CES? Are you planning on going?
Oh, I've already booked my ticket. I've already got the hotel. I've already got my credentials. I'm good to go.
That's amazing. You know, I attended CES like maybe 4 or 5 times. But I haven't done that in since last like 3-4 years. But I did go to a lot of CES. I used to go to, a lot of different conferences in Vegas, but CES for sure. That was like, wow, kind of thing. And now I'm really tempted to go. And it would be great to see you. Are you going to do like a live stream from the CES show?
So here's the funny thing. I've been trying to live stream from CES since 2014. I kid you not. I have purchased all kind of live streaming gear just to be able to say I'm live on the floor, showroom floor. And I found out, I think maybe 2018, maybe 2017. The reason why I could not go live, there's a product that I had, and it was one of the worst products that I've ever purchased in my life. Maybe it's not meant for me to know the name of it. But they're a China-based company, and they were actually at CES, and I was like, they delivered it to my hotel, told me, we hope it works, good luck with it. And when it did not work, I literally spent most of my time at CES fussing with them about why their product did not work, and I pretty much lost out on seeing all the product offerings CES had. It's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of it. Cerevo. I was not happy with that their live streaming unit. But what I found was, these convention centers, they turn off the internet and they want you to pay for internet, and that's why I can't afford $450 for the week, or $150 a day or something like that, just to be able to say I want to have internet access. So I've bought wireless, hotspots.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to be, but they have the little thing where they turn off or they disband all internet capabilities. And so unless you use their service, and because they're a union-based state, they don't really care whether or not you use your stuff or not. You're going to pay that money. So I'm going to try. If you just go to my YouTube channel at I Am Tallboy and type in CES, you'll see all the companies that I've ever interviewed. One thing about me is I try to find products that hit the 40 to 55 adult audience, that I think that would target them, or I think that would be a great product. I know people like the TVs. I know people like, the robots and the drones. But when I go out to CES, the type of content that I like to create is finding products that make sense for the 40 to 55 adult audience, and what would be good for the family now. So not something that's just in production, or something that's, a beta, or, that's an early adopter. I'm somebody that likes to say, is this available today? is it available now? So some are hit and miss, and
Yes.
some are great. So this is year 7 or year 8 for me,
Okay.
and so I'm waiting to get my 10-year badge, God willing, and we'll make it work.
That's great. I mean, yeah, I would love to see you at CES, but let's see.
Well, I'll be there. I just need to see you there.
Did the screen drop? Did you stop
Yeah, well,
sharing?
I stopped sharing. Did you want me to share it again?
No. It's good. It's good. I think we covered a lot of different things around vMix, and anybody who's interested, for sure, you can always post your comments here. TB does a lot of video production as well. So if you're looking or planning for a show, certainly do reach out to him. And while his website is being updated and things like that nature, you can always drop your email address as well, right?
Tallboy at tallboy.us. You can't mess that up. Tallboy at tallboy.us. Not the .com,
Perfect.
.us.
Perfect. And you can always find Tallboy in our community as well as on the YouTube channel, right? For which we'll leave a link shortly once we. So there are a few comments here which are interesting. Thanks a lot, Ruhani, for joining for that live demo.
Yeah, Ruhani, that's what's up, man. And he even posted the J5 Create JVAO6. I mean, when I tell you that is a bad capture card, and I don't think a lot of people know what that capture card can really do. I mean, it has so many functionalities that's in it. And remember, it's not just one capture card, it's 2 video sources in one. And you can do picture in picture, and you can live stream with it. Like that alone is I mean, you take your mirrorless camera, your DSLR, you take it out in the field with you, and it even has what is that? Loop in, and it has a hosting, and you can also USB-C a power brick to it, and then you can literally provide power to it, and then also stream from it. So I mean, you can't go wrong. That is really, I know capture cards were really hard to find during the start of the pandemic. Some people were able to get some of the cheaper ones that only went up to 720p, but this goes up to 1080. So if I'm correct, it might do 4K, but just be honest, no one streams in 4K. Everyone streams in 1080 or 720.
Yes, I mean, I have tried to stream using a higher resolution on YouTube, and YouTube it's possible now, but you do need a lot of resources. You have like much larger file sizes, and everything can be a hassle, right? Like, I mean, once you start storing those kind of files, it is not cheap for sure. No. So yeah, so storage can add up pretty quickly with 4K sizes. So having said that, Zav is saying, wow, I had no idea there was so much going on in the background for a live stream.
Yeah, you got to think. You got your audio, you got your video, you got pictures, you got to think about guests. So here's a funny story. This past Wednesday, here I brought in a guest to assist me with the live stream, right? For the tech show. A good friend of mine, he's into audio production. And I just said, hey, I know you're into tech, but you're not into tech, not the way I am. And all he kept saying was, man, you're doing a lot. You're producing, you're trying to engage in a conversation, and you're also reading the stories that are going along with the show. I mean, as far as the show flow, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And so think about it. You're focusing on trying to be the talent. So I'm not trying to discourage you. This is kind of where a tall boy would come in and say, hey, let me take that pressure off of you. Let me produce your show, whatever it may be. And then you just focus on being the talent, because now you have to focus on pressing the buttons, because Nilesh, he's over there for this show. I think have you been at ease today as opposed to some of your other ones?
Oh yeah. No, definitely. I mean, so first of all, like, a mix. So we're trying a few scenes at the beginning, which was a little bit different, right? So that was not at ease moment, but then of course a lot more at ease, right? Because depends on the guest, depends on the interaction as well. I mean, it's like not more the questions, it's about the more listening part, right? Like I want to listen into what you are saying or my guests what they're saying, right? Of course, I mean, I want to show the questions from the community for all the audio from the audience as well, and I have some of my questions, but what I really want in my show is to listen to what my guest is saying. So it's been great listening to you, and I'm at ease. So normally I won't go, I would be like a little bit, it's like, okay, that's my anxious posture, right? And then when I'm a little bit more relaxed, I'm like leaning back on my chair, and because you're doing a lot of the talking, right? So yes.
So you can focus more on the production as opposed to
Yeah.
you doing the production and focusing on the talking.
Totally.
And so
Totally. It's a lot going on.
It's a lot to manage. Let's just be honest. It's really a lot to manage, and you are not going to be able to do this by yourself easily when you first get out there.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is you got to be willing to step out. Like, I mean, it takes a lot to be able to say you're going to go live. Now, we can use OneStream, right?
Yeah.
And OneStream allows you to pre-record the show. So if you make any mistakes, you kind of know that you can kind of go in and edit it. But when you're going live, I mean, it's live. So if you have a boo-boo on live, I mean, a boo-boo moment, you're going to be like, oh my God. And you're going to be embarrassed. I mean, there's been many a nights that I've been like, man, my show sucked. And I did not want to create micro content for the week, or man, I don't even want to come up out of the bed the next day because I was really horrible. But I get up every Wednesday and I do it again. And so it's just a matter of repetition. And are you willing to get up and try it again? So all I can encourage you is to say, think about promo, because you want to talk about your show, you want to engage, and you want people to know about it. Quite naturally, you're going to put out a flyer, you're going to create the content, and then at the end, now you have to think about micro content, because people are not going to watch a hour and 34-minute stream, right? But if you have micro content and you only take snippets of the show, then they might say, oh, that was a great thought. Oh, I didn't know about that. You know what? Let me go watch it. So, so think about that micro content, which is your post-production. You have the promo that I recommended through Big View, which pretty much does all of the audio all the video and the audio for you. And then you also have your actual show. So pre, during, and post.
Yes, absolutely. Some very, very valuable tips there. And this segment could be that micro content for sure, what you just mentioned. So Zav, yeah, there is a lot going on. You do need to prepare a lot of things. You're not going to get it right on day one. You need to see what devices, what mic you're going to use, what kind of monitor, camera, lens, teleprompter, stream deck. Do you need what scenes are you gonna have, what kind of questions? There is a lot of checklists and things of that nature, but it will happen, or to ease the process, definitely somebody like Tall Boy Productions can help in get you there, right? So yes, but there is a lot of things going on, to say the least, and that's why you use some of those services and create at least a show which is going to be memorable and valuable to your audience, right? And you improve on that for sure. So yes, it's all the fun stuff.
It's just having a show flow. I mean, honestly, you need a show flow. You just don't get out there and just say, I'm going to go live. Okay, what are you going to talk about?
Yes.
Are you going to have an intro? You're going to have a welcome? Are you going to have a call to action? Are you going to have a segment? I mean, think about it. When you watch your favorite shows, the news, right? News is breaking news. Then they go into local news. then they go into world news, weather, and then sports, and then a feel good story. Everything has its segments. So look at it from that standpoint when you start saying, I want to have a show. And then now you're saying, okay, how many guests am I going to have? Is it just me and one other person? Is it me as you were saying with the tech show, I had a co-host, all the way up until about 3 weeks ago. We were able to bounce ideas off of each other to where now you're getting two different opinions. And so now it's like, oh, I never thought of it like that, as opposed to me just being, biased in my own way. I try not to be partial. I try not to be biased. I just say these are the facts, and it's just how I view it. And then Neelish can come on, and then he can say, well, I don't look at it from that standpoint. And then now you have two ways. But if you're just by yourself, you're just by yourself, right? So it's just a matter of you just getting out there and just saying, what's my show flow? Am I by myself? Do I have a co-host? Do I have guests? Do I have an audience? How can I bring in sound effects to make it even more funnier or make it cool? Or if they say something, I got the button, or whatever you want to use. And then you kind of just say, all right, I want to do certain things. So it's just a matter of what do you want as far as your show flow? And then after that, how do you promote it? Then you do it. And then it's a matter of, how do people see it again? Because I don't want this one vMix show to just sit here natively on Facebook. I would love to see a little small piece of micro content that comes out of this.
Yes.
And then it's like, hey, here's a small snippet of what happened. Go back and check the show. And next thing you know, you have more people that are watching, and it's like, oh, Neelish has a great show, or this was a great topic. Maybe I want to invest in not only vMix, but maybe I can invest in some of the other tools that were talked about this evening.
Excellent point, David. And I am going to do that. Some of the pointers which you shared today, I haven't been creating micro content, so here is the start, right? That's my takeaway. And I'm going to repurpose some of what we talked about, and there were a lot of great moments so it gives me a lot of things to go ahead, create some small snippets, and go back and share that on maybe YouTube Shorts or Instagram and things of that nature, right? So
right.
But
that's how you build the community, right?
Yes.
So I mean, yes, we already know we have our native people who are literally drawn into LTDs, but if you want to grow the community, I mean, you can we asked people to share this post or share this stream. Some did, some didn't. Some probably thought that we didn't know what we were talking about, or some said, oh, I'm interested, I want to keep it to myself. But some people are like, oh, this is, some awesome stuff. Well, what if somebody else wanted to hear this today, But, now you have this micro content to where it's like, oh, it's out here. Well, who are they? I never heard of them before, and they're just scrolling past, and next thing you know, let's go and see what other content is on here. And that's how you can find the people like a Nozzle or a Crove or some of the other LTD members that actually have products. Now they can say, okay, here's a deep dive into whatever that product may be.
Absolutely. And we see, we track users coming from our YouTube channel and the interviews. And wow, I mean, we've got so many good users from YouTube, and recently we're starting with Twitter a little bit. And yes, I mean, going and putting yourself out there can really, really help. And micro content is important. You have a good point. Nobody's going to go and immediately watch that 2-hour live stream, but I'm going to concise that a little bit. But to capture those moments and put that into micro content, repurposing that is such a big key. With that, I think we're almost touching an hour and 45 minutes. I know you want to probably call it a night. So why?
I'm open.
You're open?
Look, somebody's snoring in the back room over there, so I'm okay.
Yes.
But whatever you like to do, I'm here. If anybody has any questions, post your questions, comments. I'm open, and you can always send me a message, and I reach out, I answer. So I'm just let me know that you sent me a DM, and because I didn't know that there was 2 Facebook messengers, I didn't know that. So I don't check the second one as often, but I'm always open.
Yes, and in case, guys, in case you have any other follow-up questions, you can always, you know, I'll bookmark Tall Boy's YouTube channel. I'll post the link as well, and but yeah, you can tag him here in the community as well, and for sure. And I do hope that you take a lot of inspiration from what was shared today. In if you want to get into streaming, or if you want to get into having your own show, certainly, you know, there were a lot of valuable information shared by Tallboy. So take that and implement it into, you know, we would love to see how you are taking that, you know, how you're using vMix, and maybe if you need some help and things of that nature, always reach out. I sincerely really, really appreciate you doing that video as well. Can we somehow go ahead and play that real quick?
Yeah, because I think we have the majority of the people that are going to be here. I don't think anybody else is going to jump on. So show them what we created, or what was created for the community. And like I said, I just felt as if this was something that Neelish, I've been watching what he's been doing, and I like what he's offering to the community. And I just felt like if I can provide some value for it, you know, I hope that I hope you guys appreciate it, shall we say?
Yes. Before we play that, can we just play this one video of you interviewing Kevin Hart? And
yeah,
then
you can do it.
I know ahead. You have interviewed Bill Clinton, you have interviewed Oprah, but let me just play this.
Radio Tall Boy from Majic 107.5, 97.5. I'm with Kevin Hart. How you doing at the Hoodie Awards?
I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. You know what? Here at the Hoodie Awards, sitting back and really acknowledging how positive and big this event is. You know, happy to be here, man. Happy to be a part of it. Happy to support.
What does it mean to you to have Steve Harvey ask you to come out and support his event?
You know what? It's huge because I didn't know the magnitude of this particular event. And for me to now see and be educated on it, you know, I'm mind-boggled by it, because it's not about me today. You know, it's not about Steve. It's not about any of the celebrities.
Can they hear the audio?
We're taking a day to celebrate these people with small businesses, teachers, you know, guys that take pride, and women that take pride in their work and their everyday work.
Can you
it's
guys
a chance
hear the
for them
audio?
to be acknowledged, and
I'm pretty sure.
And basically,
can we get a thumbs up if you can hear the audio?
I'm happy to be a part of it from a
no,
positivity aspect, and to see how big this event has gotten year after
But he
year.
makes a
It can
funny
only
joke
get
at the
bigger,
end.
dude. So, like I said, once again, I take my hat off to
Y'all are
Steve for being the
funny.
humanitarian that
Austin,
he
you're
is.
funny.
I'm learning by it, and it just motivates me to do more and try to give back on my side.
Well, we see you all the time. Actually, you're actually hitting the big screen a little bit more often than in previous years. What does it mean? Because we see you on Ford, doing commercials with Ford, as well as doing your TV shows and your comedy shows. What does it mean to actually be like the new face?
You know what, man? It's motivating. You know what? But I don't get content with it, because this just motivates me to do more and get more. You know, success can go for years. You know, it just depends on how much you put into it. You know, what your goals are. My goals are huge. I want to be a mogul. So I can't be a mogul by relaxing and taking time to acknowledge my accomplishments thus far. I know what I want, and I know that I have to work harder to get them. So I'm humbled by what I have, and I'm humbled at the support that I get from my fans. And, you know, right now it's just about making them happy and continuing my grind.
All right, last question. I do a community initiative with schools in the Atlanta area, and I talk to them about the importance of hustling the legal way and also networking. Can you give me your personal definition of hustle and network?
Well, hustling and networking are two very strong words that can be used in the inner city that can sometimes be misconstrued for other things. Hustling is basically putting your effort in 100% into something and continuing your grind. Networking and hustling go hand in hand because you have no hustle if you have no network. Networking is meeting people that can help you reach whatever goal you're trying to accomplish. And sometimes networking is something as small as sitting down eating with somebody, being a person to talk to, because once people like you, people then want to help you. And that's what networking is. It's showing people that you're a likable person to be helped, and showing people that you want so much out of life and out of whatever it is that you want to put your effort into, that I say, you know what, I want to help this guy. That's what networking is, man. Shaking hands is not a bad thing. Smiling is not a bad thing, but a lot of people don't understand that. But with time, they will. You know what I mean? We're rebooting a system right now within our inner city, and that's educating younger kids and showing them that everything doesn't have to be illegal. Everything doesn't have to be violent. It can be a happier place and a motivated place if you realize what you can get by putting your all into something. So that's where we are right now.
Well, you heard it here first. It's the tallest man on your radio, Tall Boy, with Mr. Kevin Hart, right here back on the blue carpet at the Hoodie Awards. Thank you once again.
I hope the camera could see me. I feel like I'm under it.
That's funny. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Okay, I was gonna play one more. And 1 second.
And who is this one that you're playing?
This is the one which you created for.
Oh, I thought it was another interview that I had.
Ladies and gentlemen,
business owners and entrepreneurs from all over the world, welcome to the Sas Tribe Podcast. We are broadcasting live from Toronto, Canada. Sas Tribe is a community for SaaS founders, consultants, creators, small businesses, digital agencies, and most importantly, early adopters. We host upcoming and established founders and creators to take a deep dive into their respective products, understand their vision, and help them build a tribe of early adopters. If you are constantly looking to innovate and digitalize your business, then this podcast and our community are for you. Join us for community reviews, unique perspectives, and discussions on how to use promising SaaS tools to your advantage. Our vision is to help build sustainable startups. We want to drive long-term benefits for early adopters and startups that can scale and receive ongoing feedback. The goal is to constantly improve their tools to pave the ultimate road to success. We are deeply committed to our tribe of early adopters and discovering tools and resources which help businesses thrive. This is an interactive show, so engage with us. Tell us your name and where you're from in the comments. Our show will be starting in 1 minute.
Very good.
So now you have like a story before the actual show goes on, so where people can actually feel as if they know what they're coming into, and I hope that the community will appreciate that. And like I said, anybody that's looking for something like that done, I mean, I'm a message or an email away saying, "Hey, how can we make this happen?" But I've found this group. I wanted to say fell into this group, but I'm too tall to fall. But I found this group, and I've been watching for the last 4 or 5 months, and I love what I've been seeing from you guys. The late night streams from the UK to New York to Toronto to just seeing founders all over here. I just really love it. And I don't have the answers to everything, but you know, I'll even catch the replays and I'm like, wow, I didn't know it. The only thing that I really feel bad about is I asked about the nozzle. Were they willing to give a giveaway?
Yeah.
And I actually ended up winning the giveaway.
Yes.
And I still don't know how to work the giveaway. So, and I hear so many people that are like, hey, what do you think of nozzle? And it's like, it seems like it's the best LTD that I probably have gotten all year, but I don't know how to work it. And I know that there's people that probably are like, oh my God. So I
But
feel
did you
really.
get it though?
I won. Yes. Yeah. He actually eventually got it over to me, and
Yes.
I still don't know how to work it.
That's
So I
something
feel
which
so bad.
that's something which can be easily, so we can do a couple of sessions this week on Nozzle. So I was going to do a 30-day challenge actually around creating one video per day, but not just one video. I want to do like one video, repurpose that video, basically transcribe it, create a blog entry, and then move it into a podcast. But I have some other project work come up, so I have to push it. But I thought I'm going to take that time to better prepare for it. So I'm going to create 30 topics, right? And I'm going to leave some days open, and then pick random topics. So I can put Nozzle in my queue, and we can do a few sessions on Nozzle.
Well, like I said, that's the one tool that, and I have a whole bunch of these, but that's the one. WebWave is probably, and I really don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but we have to be honest. I really think, well, take that back. VideoLink and WebWave were my two worst LTDs that I've purchased. I think that the owner was awesome, but I mean, I think Switchboard really took the cake with them. Switchboard is really awesome, and I just could not understand the user interface with VideoLink, and WebWave I just did not get. That flyer that we created today was created with Crello. I like quoters. I know somebody was saying something about on Laurel Stream about creating quotes and stuff like that. I think that they have a very cool LTD. I love Happy Scribe. VidJuice is really a steal, because if you need to pull some YouTube videos real quick, VidJuice really makes that work. I haven't figured out Socialmonials yet. But Video Peel is awesome, which hopefully somebody can help me with my website, and then I can have testimonials with Video Peel. And I really think that the sleeper out of all the LTDs that I have, the sleeper is Promotix. But the thing with Promotix is you have to be an event planning company, because I think you can keep your fees from Eventbrite, but you can stream and also do ticketing with Promotix. So the other ones, Writer, Mastera, Consulto. I like Mastera. I just haven't had a chance to come up with a course yet. I just don't know how I can do that. And so maybe somebody in this group can give me some ideas, but that's pretty much it. So I just jumped into this community last year. And I think my very first LTD was Big View. And like I said, I use Big View every single week. So Big View and Switchboard are the LTDs that I use every week. So those are my top picks. I use most of them. Oh, and Deposit Photos. So some of those.
Do you like Switchboard? Do you like Switchboard?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So I like it because I think Laurel said this yesterday. I can create whatever template that I want, and then I can copy it, and then it literally can just go in and edit however I want to be able to edit. But I want to be able to pull comments, and I don't think that it's on their roadmap to be able to pull comments. So I'm constantly switching back and forth from YouTube to Switchboard to make sure that my stream is right. I'm looking at vMix Social, and I'm also looking at YouTube just to make sure everything is right. And if I knew that I could bring comments in on Switchboard, I think that my ease of use from Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube would be a lot easier if I was able to bring in comments. So I think that's the one downside that I have. And I forgot, there's one more LTD that I just bought. The ones who own Yuki. What's the
Wadu TV.
Yeah, Vadu TV. So I invested in them, but I have not been able to convert my content over to them just yet. But Vadu TV, I think, is a sleeper when it comes to creating your micro content and then saying, hey, I can put it over here. So um, I think, oh, by the way, anybody that has Roku or Amazon Fire, I have my own channel. So one of the things that I'm trying to implement for 2022 is if I do a production with you, if the content is, good and I think it's informative, such as like a show like this, I would,
Yes.
I have a Roku and an Amazon Fire channel to where this content can be seen all over the world as opposed to just YouTube. Because not everybody watches YouTube, right?
That's good.
People have a television or they're watching stuff on, their tablets. Well, now you can come over to Roku or you can come over to Amazon Fire and you can now watch content on there. So that channel is called TBE Media, and you can check out my shows or check out the content that I produce on Amazon Fire or on Roku. TBE Media.
It is TBE Media. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, V Loud. Man, Joe, don't make me do that. I let it go, Joe. I let it go.
That's the one?
Yeah. What? Yes, that is it. So Roku, Amazon Fire is TBE Media. And if you want to find me on any social channel, it's I Am Tallboy. So Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube is I Am Tallboy. I'm on Twitter, but it's tallboy.us. I'm very rarely, you can probably catch me quicker on Instagram. Just shoot me a DM before you catch me on any other platform. You can probably DM me on Instagram and I'll respond to that faster than I'll respond to an email, honestly. So, Joe, why did you do that? He knows how I feel about that. So, I think with V Loud, can I give my honest opinion about V Loud?
Go ahead. We are all about honest opinions. Go ahead.
I was willing to invest in V Loud. I really went all in with them. And anybody, and if you are an owner of an LTD, you should be very responsive to anybody that reaches out to you via email, via messenger, create a Facebook community. Don't go ghost on people when they're trying to buy and believe in you. That's just my personal opinion. You should literally you should be able to be accessible because we are buying into you, right? We believe in what you have and we think that it is a great use case for us. Utilize us as your people to say, hey, they'll be willing to create content for us. They'll be willing to help sell our product for us. But if you go ghost or you take 72 to 96 hours when we're trying to figure it out because there's no tutorials, it's going to be kind of hard for people to want to invest in you. So anybody that has an LTD
Yes.
or you have a service that you're offering, I highly recommend you create a community like Vadu TV and like Writer and talk to your members and let them know that if they have a problem, that you're accessible. And unfortunately, VLOUD was, not as accessible. There was no training videos. No one knew what they were. And here I was saying, I'm trying to build out a Roku or an Amazon channel, and you were not available. So unfortunately, I just decided to go in a different direction.
Yes. And let me talk a little bit about that. You do bring an important point for sure. You do need to be accessible, right?
Paula Caldwell said, preach.
Yes. Yes. Hey, Paula. One of the things, there are two types of companies which are coming up. Like there are other types of companies. And if you look on AppSumo, like 99% of those things which are listed on there, they are not worth looking at, right? We want to act as that filter where we look into some of the good stuff, and then, but there are companies out there, right, which have a market. They already have a customer base, possibly, which is outside of that recurring, outside of that lifetime deal buyer, right? And I'm not sure how big vLoud is, but that could be one of the reasons that they would categorize it, like versus why do TV or I mean, these are folks which have, yes, sold into the community, and that is their market, right? Like that's their target market, and they're growing from there. Versus there are companies which have a market outside of the community, and so it's a little bit like they look at it from maybe not as profitable. They just want to do it for like awareness. So maybe a different approach altogether. But
Well, here's my thing.
yes,
Video. Because the first thing when we don't know what to do with your product, you need to create some type of tutorial, pay somebody to create a tutorial, go to
100%.
Fiverr and create a tutorial, and
Yes.
post that stuff on YouTube. Like, I'm just, there's no, as Paula Caldwell said, there's no excuse. There needs to be some type of content saying, hey, this is who we are. Because the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to watch your AppSumo video, right? And I'm going to be like, okay, show me how it works. Okay, give me a more deeper dive. Let me go and see if you have a YouTube community. I don't care if you have 2, 5, 1,000, 10,000 people, because Crello, I was looking the other day on how to do something and I couldn't figure it out. And I was getting frustrated, and I was like, there's no videos or tutorials on Crello. Crello is an awesome alternative to Canva. It's an awesome alternative, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, I had some issues, and I literally played around with it for about 45 minutes. And I know that if I would have went to Canva, it would have knocked it out with no worries. But I was determined to say, you know what? Let me check out Crello, and I know they just merged with Vistaprint. So I know some things we were all in uproar, like, yes, it actually works. So, I like that. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, then video is worth 1,000,000. So if anybody that owns that LTD,
Yes.
just understand that we need to see some type of video of you talking about your product. If you're afraid to get on the camera, pay somebody that's not afraid, because you're going to get more sales with people seeing video. I'm just a straight shooter. I'm just going to tell it like it is. If your product is crap, it's just crap. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but it is what it is. But maybe you need to go back to the drawing board. But at the end of the day, we are investing in you. We are spending our hard-earned dollars, or at least I know I'm spending mine.
Yeah.
And I'm eating peanut butter and jelly as opposed to going to Chipotle or going to Juicy Crab to go get my my crab legs, because I believe in you. And I think with Mastera, did you guys have them on as a guest?
We did, yes.
I invested in Mastera because I looked into his eyes, and
Yes.
I believed in his product.
Yes.
Now, I went without eating because I believed in this man's product.
Yes.
So I wish I would have. I'm not a great writer, so I didn't create a review, but I believed in what he was doing, and I said, you know what? Maybe not now, but in 2 years, I might need this product.
Yes.
And I already have it in house and it's ready for me. So
yes, and I hope I think it was
put that
Shubham.
next comment on. Put that next comment on. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, I do wanna make sure that Shubham delivers on it, right? Like Shubham does.
No. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. They need to read that. So if you own an LTD, read that. That is so important. We refund what we don't understand or don't know how to use. And I tried my best to rock with vLoud as long as I could. And I was like, you know what? I had the FOMO, fear of missing out. But I just I had to make an honest decision with myself. Now, I will say, in all fairness and honesty to vLoud, their team did reach back out to me and ask me, why did I choose to cancel? That was the first. I've never had a company reach out and say, why did I choose to cancel with them? But I gave them an honest opinion and said, this is why I canceled.
Yeah.
It and whether you like the response, I wish you nothing but the best in your future. And I was kind of scared of the other LTD hosting, Adello. I was kind of scared to make that move on that one
Yeah.
because some people had said some negative things about them and some people said some positive. So I was kind of worried.
Yeah.
And, as I was reading the comments, I just said, you know what? Until I find a more stable hosting, I think that I'm going to fall back off of hosting. So a guy like me who does video, I need hosting. And right now, YouTube and Vimeo are the primary hosting places. And now Vadu TV is saying that they want to be a player in the game as well. So you invest with a Vadu TV, right? Because they're saying that they want to be a player. And now you can start saying, I can host my micro content over here and I can create courses and I can lock down my stuff with HLS encryption. And now I'm good to go. So.
Yeah, I'm not using Water TV. I'm not using actually Adilo as well. I am using Circle, so as a community, and
Okay.
yeah. I'm not using Water TV because like one of the things was like when I was talking to some of the folks, they had some issue with uploading higher size files.
Yes,
Water
yeah,
TV.
that's a problem. That's going to be a problem because see, like if you shoot anything in 1080,
Yeah.
your files are going to be easily 400, 500 gigs. I mean, 400, 500 megabytes.
Yes.
And you're saying you're only going to give me 150 megabytes, or say like my video, like right now my videos or my streams, they're about 3.7 gigs. So this is a 1 hour show, 3.7 gigs. We're not shooting in 4K. We're shooting in 1080. So now you're telling me I have to probably downgrade, and I'm toting the line of 1.5 with Badu TV. So I'm looking at it as, how does this work for me? But I understand hosting costs. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I think Ruan is saying there is 2 GB limit on
okay,
Vadu.
on Badu, yeah,
But one of the things which I did was I record the session in 4K so I can downscale it if I want to, or and then I'm streaming right now, or if I want to stream onto YouTube, I can, like, of course, I'm streaming right now. I am at 4K. So yes, on Facebook they only support up to 1080p, and which is fine. But I do want to have, so my file size is already going to be much bigger than 2 gigs for this particular video as well. So Water TV wasn't going to work for me. Anyway, I had the founder on as well on the live stream, and I wished them nothing but the best, but it wasn't just going to work for me. So
can I say this to you?
Yeah.
Don't worry about the 4K, because most people are watching the content on their phone or their tablet,
Yes.
and they can't support 4K. So you can save some of that space or some of that memory from your graphics card, by just putting it in 1080. As opposed to you saying, and I know people say, "Oh, it's 4K," but unless you're watching it on a Samsung or a 4K TV, you're not going to truly see 4K, especially in 2021 to 2024. Now, maybe in 2025, 4K will be like the standard. Remember, there was 3G, there's 4G, and now there's 5G, right? And everyone's pushing 5G, but everyone does not have access to it. Will people remember what 3G is? But we're not ready for 5G just yet. But the tech is saying that we are. So I'm just saying to you, don't focus on saying, "Oh, I'm streaming in 4K," because the average person, they can't tell if it's 4K, 1080, or 720, because whatever Facebook outputs, whatever YouTube outputs, or whatever LinkedIn outputs, that's what you're going to get. So right now, between the next year, I would just say, let me just downscale. And I don't think anybody is going to come onto your stream and say, "Nilesh, it's not 4K.
Yeah.
They're going to say, "Is this stream good?" We still have 11, 12 people still rocking with us because the content is good, not because it's 4K.
Yes, no. So I do alternate, like from time to time. I would alternate to like 1080p, but yes, I know Joe is saying good luck convincing in 4K, but yeah,
Joe.
yeah. Yes. So one of the reasons I do wanted to have 4K was basically for the YouTube portion, where it does allow you to have a 4K kind of stream, because eventually once I have a little bit of audience, I want to move everything into YouTube, right? Like I want to move the stream exclusively to YouTube, and see how it goes for sure.
So that video that you just showed of Kevin Hart,
Yes,
that was in 720.
Yes,
And nobody was complaining about 720. They were saying, look how tall he is, and now look at the comments of what they were saying about Kevin Hart.
Yes.
No one never complained about the video quality or the footage.
Yes.
It's like, oh, that is Kevin Hart, and that is Tall Boy, right? So I get it. While you're mastering this now, and you can do whatever you want to do, but while you're mastering this now and making your mistakes, like I said, there's no need to focus on 4K. Just look at it as I'm mastering it, and then 5 years from now, when we all become professionals in this game, we'll go back to these streams and we'll be like, you know what? I have, maybe you can cut it up and make it micro content, and it probably won't be that large of a file. You probably don't have to worry about downsizing or whatever it may be. But just for right now, this is just my recommendation. I probably wouldn't even focus on, I wouldn't even focus on whether or not it's 4K. Just making sure that people are provided with quality content.
Yes.
And, great subject matter and just your honest opinions.
Yes. Yes. So, so I mean, sure, Joe is going to be very happy with that. But let me tell you who I watched and who convinced me to do 4K. Do you know Doc Rock? You are in his community, right?
Yep, I know Doc Rock.
He's all about 4K. So I was like, okay, let me get into 4K.
But don't keep up with the Joneses. Keep up with yourself.
Yes.
So, I mean, if that's what Doc Rock wants to do, and I love Doc Rock. I think Doc Rock is a great guy. I'm not knocking him. But, I mean, honestly, if you like the content and if you like what they're all about, look at your favorite artists, right? The Taylor Swifts, the Gucci Mans, the who is a great art, Drake and Lil Wayne and all. They didn't have all of that stuff in the Cardi B's, right? But we still go back and watch how they were all when they all started out, right?
Yes.
Now that they have seasoned and they have the right management behind them, oh yeah, everything's going to be 4K and everything's going to be solid. But they have the big budget to do it, right? But when they first started, they didn't have the big budget. So I just look at it as people, if they like you and if they like what you're all about, they'll go back and watch my old YouTube videos.
Yes.
And they'll be like, oh, he interviewed Oprah? Let me see that video. Oh, he interviewed the Isley Brothers? Let me see that. Oh, he interviewed Soledad O'Brien? Let me go back and watch that. Yes. So whoever it may be, no matter who it may be, one of my biggest interviews was with a blues singer called Marvin Cease, shot in 720. But I mean, I have bigger interviews with Oprah. Believe it or not, the view count is 215 views. I have an interview with Oprah on YouTube that only has 215 views. But Marvin Cease has a couple thousand over there. One of my biggest interviews. So, I mean, people are going to go back and watch what they want to watch.
Yes, absolutely. And, for sure, there is like a lot of good.
I watched that in 240p.
That's Joe. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's funny. I think with that, we've almost been at 2.
Yeah, we're over 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Wow, so, we did a good job.
I have to do some editing, but go ahead.
We're gonna put them to work, guys.
Yes. But with that, I really want to thank you Tallboy, for being here, being part of the community, as well as sharing some of your pro tips on vMix and sharing your workflow and sharing things about you as well, from your professional basketball career to how you got into radio. So thanks again, and that was fun. Anything else you want to cover? And then I'm sure we'll do this again one of these days. So,
well, first off, thank you for inviting me and even reaching out to me. I have to find a way to get you on my tech show to kind of talk tech news with me. And remember, I try to dumb it down in plain English. Follow me, check me out. I am Tallboy on YouTube, the Lab Tech Show on YouTube. If you like video production, or if you would like me to assist you with producing your content for you as we go into the new year, feel free to shoot me a holler and shoot me a DM, and let's talk. It's not about your budget. I don't care about that, but I do care about quality, and I do care about I care about quality, and I care about making sure that we tell your story effectively, if that makes sense. So I guess at the end of the day is, what is the value that you're willing to pay for that? So if you value your product and whatever it is that you're selling, then you'll pay for it. But if you want a nickel and dime, you'll get that too. So yeah. So outside of that, thank you so much, man. I really enjoyed myself. I've been waiting to get on one of these shows, and I think this is a fitting way to be introduced to the community. And I'm definitely humbled that you even considered me.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you so much. And have a wonderful night. And I'm sure we will do a follow-up session maybe in the coming weeks, coming days, do something else. So thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Tallboy.
Man, I'm humbled. Thank you, man. Okay, don't forget to get your drink next time, man.
Yes, yes. We'll do a brews and LTDs next, right? So.
All right.
Take on the world. We're gonna take on the world. Standing up tall, we gotta make it our own. No waiting around. Winners would never look down. No one can stop us, we got it. The future is right in our hands. Give it 100%. We're gonna take on the world.